Welcome to the OmniDental podcast.
Thanks for having me back.
So, the human jaw exerts over 200 pounds of force when you chew. 200 pounds.
Oh, yeah, it is a staggering amount of pressure.
Right. Now, just imagine trying to sustain that kind of, crushing daily mechanical force when the very foundation of your mouth is crumbling.
It sounds incredibly painful just thinking about it.
It really does. And, most of the time when you think about going to the dentist, it's for something highly specific and usually pretty quick.
Yeah, like an isolated issue.
Exactly. You have a cavity, you get a filling, you have some plaque, you get a cleaning. It is very point A to point B.
Very straightforward.
But what happens when point A and point B are, no longer enough? What happens when you are dealing with widespread decay, maybe extensive damage, or multiple missing teeth?
That changes the entire equation.
Completely. And you are sitting there realizing that a simple filling is just, well, it's not going to cut it against that 200 pounds of daily pressure.
No, not at all.
So that is exactly the mission of our deep dive today. We are going to demystify a concept that sounds, honestly, incredibly intimidating on paper. The full mouth reconstruction.
Yeah, it is a heavy term, isn't it? Reconstruction.
It really is.
I mean, it sounds industrial, almost like, I don't know, road work or something.
Totally, like heavy machinery.
Right. But when you are dealing with widespread dental issues, you really have to shift your mindset. You have to move away from those tactical one-off fixes, and you need a comprehensive strategic approach. You aren't just patching a pothole anymore. You are essentially re-engineering the entire oral environment so it functions correctly and healthily again.
Wow, re-engineering.
Exactly. We were talking about the biology, the biomechanics, and the aesthetics all working in perfect harmony.
Exactly. And to really anchor our conversation today, we are diving into a comprehensive guide, specifically the clinical philosophies and protocols laid out by Dr. Bylis Poles. This was published on July 5, 2026.
A very solid foundation for this topic.
Oh, absolutely. So he leads OmniDental, which is this really fascinating environmentally conscious family dental practice.
Right.
And they're located at 305E Rand Road in Arlington Heights, Illinois. They handle just about everything from general and cosmetic dentistry to the highly advanced aesthetic services we are, unpacking today.
They really cover the full spectrum.
They do. And what is really interesting to me is the sheer volume of complex cases they see, because they draw patients from a massive service area.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
Right. We are talking Arlington Heights, Buffalo Grove, Palatine, Mount Prospect, Rolling Meadows.
Schaumburg, too, right?
Yes, Schaumburg, Wheeling, Des Plaines, all the way to Elk Grove Village. So they have seen absolutely every variation of a collapsing bite.
Which is exactly what you want.
Yeah, they have this incredible vantage point on how this massive transformation actually happens in the real world.
And looking at how a practice with that kind of footprint operates is, well, it's the perfect place to start. Because before getting into the literal tools, the drills, the lasers, the implants, you really have to understand the underlying philosophy of a full mouth reconstruction.
Right, the big picture.
Exactly. The most critical takeaway here is that a full mouth reconstruction is never, ever just one single procedure.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It is a highly customized, bespoke mix of treatments. It is built specifically around your unique biology.
Okay.
Because you have a completely different bite, different bone density, different gum health, and honestly different personal goals than the next patient.
That makes sense.
So absolutely no two reconstructions are ever going to look exactly alike.
Okay, let's unpack this, because I think this is where people get tripped up. I like to think about treating this process like building a custom house rather than just going down to the hardware store and buying a prefab shed.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Right, because if you buy a shed, it comes in a box, you hammer a few nails, and you just hope for the best.
Yeah, one size fits all.
Exactly. But a custom house, the dentist is acting as an architect here. They cannot just start hammering. They have to rigorously evaluate the foundation, which, in this case would be your gums.
Right, the gums and the bone underneath.
Right, and then they have to look at the structural integrity, meaning your jaw and your bite alignment. And finally, they look at the aesthetics.
The actual teeth.
Yeah, the actual teeth, which are like the facade of the house. They have to create this master blueprint before a single tool is ever lifted.
That is a brilliant way to conceptualize it. And, to carry your architect analogy a step further, an architect does not just walk onto an empty dirt lot and guess if the ground is solid enough for a 3-story house.
No, they'd get sued.
Right. They test the soil, they take core samples. And this really highlights the patient-first mentality and the heavy reliance on advanced technology at Omni Dental.
So what are they actually doing in that first step?
Well, the dentist doesn't just guess. They conduct a comprehensively deep initial exam. They're taking panoramic x-rays, they are capturing 3D digital scans.
Like really mapping the mouth.
Exactly, mapping everything to look at the nerves and the bone volume.
Wow.
And they are physically checking the health of the periodontal pockets and the jaw joint.
Wow.
And just as importantly, they are asking you about your specific goals.
Right, getting to the human element.
Exactly. They ask, are you in daily pain? Are you struggling to chew fibrous foods like meats and vegetables?
Or avoiding apples, right?
Avoiding apples. Or are you hiding your smile in family photos? They take all that hard diagnostic data and your personal input to build a logical, step-by-step treatment order.
So they merge the science with what the patient actually wants.
Exactly. You cannot separate the engineering from the biology or the psychology.
That is so true. And since every custom house needs the exact right materials for that specific terrain, this naturally flows into the actual tools the dentist is using to rebuild a smile.
The restorative toolkit.
Exactly. Let's dig into that restorative toolkit, because the source guide breaks down 4 primary procedures that make up most of these reconstruction plans.
All right, the heavy hitters.
Yeah. First up, we have dental implants. And these are essentially the heavy-duty structural beams used for replacing missing teeth and fixing a weak bite.
They are foundational.
And Omni Dental offers some really specialized options here, right? Like all-on-4 and full-arch implants, plus the bone grafting needed to support them.
Which is a game changer for a lot of people.
But wait, let's pause on that. Why exactly does a missing tooth require a titanium implant and bone grafting? Like, what is actually happening beneath the surface there?
Oh, this is where the biology gets incredible. The human body is just highly efficient.
Okay.
Your jawbone exists primarily to hold your teeth in place. Every single time you chew, the root of your tooth stimulates the surrounding bone.
Like a workout.
Exactly like a workout. It tells your body, hey, we're using this bone, keep sending calcium and nutrients here.
Oh, wow.
But when you lose a tooth, that stimulation stops. And the body, in its efficiency, assumes you just no longer need that jawbone.
Wait, really?
Yeah. And it actually begins to resorb it. The bone literally melts away over time.
Wow. So it's a literal use it or lose it scenario for your skeleton.
Exactly. Use it or lose it. So a dental implant isn't just cosmetic. It acts as an artificial root. It's made of titanium, which is a biocompatible metal.
Meaning the body accepts it.
Right. Through a process called osseointegration, your living bone cells actually fuse to the microscopic threads of the titanium implant.
That is wild.
It is. It makes it a permanent part of your body. But if you've been missing teeth for a while, you might not have enough bone left to even hold the implant.
Because it melted away.
Right. That is where bone grafting comes in. You're essentially packing nutrient-rich regenerative topsoil onto an eroded cliff before you pour a concrete foundation.
Oh, I love that analogy.
It tricks the body into growing new, dense bone right where it had previously melted away.
Unbelievable.
And then procedures like the all-on-4, they are engineering marvels. They use just 4 strategically angled implants to anchor an entire upper or lower arch of teeth.
Just 4.
Just 4. It maximizes the existing bone and avoids sensitive areas like the sinus cavities.
That is fascinating. The body just integrates the metal.
Yeah.
Okay, moving down the toolkit, you have crowns and bridges.
Right.
These are deployed to rescue teeth that are cracked, maybe severely worn down, or heavily decayed. So if the root is still solid and stimulating the bone, like you said, you don't pull the tooth, right?
Correct. You always want to save natural biology when you can.
Got it. So a crown acts like a customized protective shell. It saves that precious natural structure that is left while fully restoring the chewing function and the aesthetic look of the tooth.
Exactly. You're capping it to save it.
Yeah.
But to do any of this, to do the implants or the crowns, you absolutely need healthy gums.
The foundation.
Right. Which brings us to the foundational wart gum treatment. Addressing gum disease is absolutely essential because if you don't, it will completely ruin the new restorations.
Really? It's that serious?
Oh, definitely. You cannot put a pristine new crown or a titanium implant into an infected mouth. It will fail. Yeah. Omni Dental utilizes gum disease laser therapy for this, which is just a massive leap forward from the old ways of doing things.
Right, because when I hear gum treatment, my mind immediately goes to, like, the old school metal scrapers.
Oh, the dreaded scraping.
Yeah, just the sound of it makes me cringe. How does the laser change that equation?
Well, the difference is night and day. Traditional methods involved physically scraping away tissue, which is, highly invasive.
And painful.
Very. A highly targeted dental laser, however, operates on a specific wavelength. It only targets and vaporizes the dark, infected bacteria and diseased tissue.
So it leaves the good stuff alone.
Exactly. It completely leaves the healthy pink tissue intact. And it instantly cauterizes as it works.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah, which means significantly less bleeding, less swelling, and a much faster, more comfortable healing process. You are clearing out the infection at a microscopic level.
Which gives you a perfectly clean slate.
Exactly.
And finally, the fourth major tool in the kit is bite correction. This focuses on fixing jaw alignment and chewing problems.
Which is so critical.
Right. I always like to think of this like balancing the tires on a car. If your alignment is off by even a millimeter, the entire engine and chassis kind of shake themselves apart over time.
That's a perfect way to picture it.
Yeah, in your mouth, if your bite is misaligned, your jaw joint, your temporomandibular joint, takes the brunt of that 200 pounds of force unevenly.
Right, it's not distributed properly.
And that leads to cracked teeth, chronic headaches, and neck pain.
It causes so much collateral damage.
So, looking at this massive list, titanium implants, bone grafting, crowns, laser beam therapy, bite realignment, I have to ask a relatable question on behalf of everyone listening.
Go for it.
If a patient needs all of these major interventions, isn't that totally overwhelming? I mean, how do you avoid just having a chaotic mouth full of simultaneous painful surgeries?
What's fascinating here is the strict dependency of the steps.
Okay.
It is the absolute opposite of chaos. It is highly choreographed.
Right.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that you cannot build a house on a crumbling foundation. And that is literal biological truth in dentistry. The steps are completely dependent on each other.
Like a domino effect.
Exactly. If there is gum disease present, it must be treated with that laser therapy first. Full stop.
Before anything else.
Before anything. The gums in the bone must be established as perfectly healthy before a bone graft or an implant can even be considered. The sequence dictates everything.
Ensuring the body is actually ready for the next phase.
Right. You have to prep the environment.
Which means this whole process is a marathon, not a sprint. And understanding that strict, biologically driven order of procedures really sheds light on the realities of the timeline.
It does. High-quality reconstruction takes time.
So chronologically, you go from that deep diagnostic mapping straight to the laser gum treatment to establish a baseline of health.
Right.
And only then do you reach the implant placement, assuming the bone is ready, of course.
And that leads to the phase that requires the most patience, the healing time.
The waiting game.
Yeah. We talked about osseointegration, the bone physically fusing to the titanium. That biological process simply cannot be rushed.
The body operates on its own schedule.
It really does. It requires dedicated time, sometimes months, for the tissue to lock that implant into place securely.
Wow.
And only after that fusion is verified can you move to the final stage, which is attaching the permanent crowns, bridges, or veneers to finally complete the smile.
Okay, wait, I have to stop you there. Because the clinical protocols mention that this total treatment can take anywhere from a few months to well over a year.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Let's be totally real about this. How do you convince a patient to commit to a year of dental work? I feel like most people would just run for the hills if you pitch them a 12-month surgical timeline.
Oh, completely.
Like, are patients just hiding out in their houses, unable to chew or speak properly for 12 months? Am I stuck on a miserable, kale and banana smoothie diet in total isolation while I wait for my implants to fuse?
It's a completely understandable fear. But thankfully, that is not the reality at all. It is crucial to demystify this downtime.
Oh, thank goodness.
While the implant placement and the bone grafting do require months of healing, that healing is happening quietly, completely hidden beneath the surface of your gums.
Oh, I see.
You are not incapacitated for a year. In fact, most patients return to normal eating, speaking, and social activities well before the total treatment wraps up.
Wait, really? So you weren't walking around with daps in your mouth for 6 months?
No, not at all. Modern protocols ensure you are provided with high-quality temporary restorations.
Okay, that makes so much more sense.
Yeah, these temporaries look and function like real teeth, while the heavy-duty structural healing happens underneath. You can go to work, you can go out to dinner, and honestly, nobody will know you are in the middle of a reconstruction.
That is incredible.
And if your specific custom plan only involves minor restorative work, like, say, a few crowns and some bite alignment, there is very little downtime at all.
So the timeline is long, but the disruption to your actual daily life is surprisingly minimal.
Exactly.
That is a huge relief to hear, because when anyone hears the words surgical steps, bone grafting, and a timeline spanning over a year, your mind immediately goes to the physical and financial realities.
Essentially.
It sounds terrifying. Let's address those tough, practical FAQs directly from the source, starting with the biggest one, pain. Honestly, how painful is a full mouth reconstruction?
Well, the clinical reality is actually very reassuring. Patients usually experience mild to moderate soreness following the surgical steps.
So soreness, not agony.
Right, not the sharp, unmanageable pain they fear. Modern dentistry has become incredibly adept at pain management.
Thank goodness for modern medicine.
Seriously, discomfort is completely blocked using advanced local anesthesia during the actual procedure.
Right?
But afterward, the soreness is usually akin to a deep bruise. And simple, standard, over-the-counter pain relief is usually all that is needed. That soreness typically fades within just a few days as the annual inflammation goes down.
Okay, what about the downsides? We want to give a completely balanced view here for the listeners.
Of course.
The main downsides to a full mouth reconstruction are clearly the substantial time commitment and, of course, the financial cost.
Yes, it is an investment.
You are combining multiple, highly complex medical procedures over a long period. But it is also noted that practices like OmniDental deeply understand this barrier, which is why phased treatment plans or financing options are utilized to make the process manageable.
That's a huge point.
Because it's so sequenced, you don't necessarily have to pay for or endure everything on day one. You pace it out based on the biology and your budget.
Right. Which raises the ultimate question, though. The worth it factor.
Right. Is it all worth it?
Is enduring a multi-month timeline and making that kind of financial investment truly worth it? Well, you have to look at the baseline of the patient.
What do you mean?
Well, for someone who is suffering from chronic daily jaw pain, or the physical inability to properly chew and digest solid food, or someone who has such severe self-consciousness that they avoid smiling at their own children.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
For those people, this delivers a massive, undeniable quality of life change. And because it was uniquely custom-built to their biomechanics with proper daily care, these results are designed to last for many years.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me. We are so conditioned by social media and pop culture to think of cosmetic dentistry as pure vanity.
Oh, 100%.
You know, getting your teeth artificially brightened or perfectly straightened just to look good in photos. But a full mouth reconstruction bridges the gap between the aesthetic and the fundamental.
Yes.
This isn't just about a Hollywood smile. It is a profound restoration of basic human functions. We are talking about eating a meal without wincing in pain.
Eating normally.
Right. Speaking clearly without a lisp or feeling self-conscious. Literally existing without a low, exhausting hum of chronic pain radiating from your jaw into your neck.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this touches exactly on OmniDental's core ethos.
How so?
Well, Dr. Poles and his team have over a decade of experience, and their stated goal is to treat patients like family.
Which every business says, but here it matters.
Right, and why do they say it? Because they understand at a fundamental, scientific level that dental conditions are not isolated to the mouth.
Oh, interesting.
Your oral health dictates your nutritional intake. It impacts your cardiovascular health. It massively impacts your psychological well-being.
Everything is connected.
Everything. Utilizing this incredible advanced technology while maintaining an environmentally conscious approach is just their practical way of delivering that deeply personal, life-changing care as safely and effectively as humanly possible.
So what does this all mean for you, listening right now? It means that while the phrase full mouth reconstruction sounds intimidating, and it absolutely requires patience, a custom-built plan can safely restore both function and confidence. It is not chaos. It is a precise journey from the structural foundation all the way to the aesthetic finish.
Well said.
But remember, the only way to know your exact cost, your specific timeline, and what your outcome will look like is through an in-person evaluation. You can't just guess.
No, you definitely need an expert to look at it.
OmniDental is open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and you can reach their Arlington Heights team directly at 847-483-8833.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over.
Let's hear it.
Consider the deep psychological impact of a restored smile. We have spent a lot of time today talking about the impressive mechanics, the timelines, the lasers, and the titanium tools.
The nuts and bolts.
Right, the nuts and bolts. But try to project yourself forward. Think about transforming the very way you eat, speak, and physically present yourself to the world.
Yeah.
How does fundamentally altering all of that change your self-identity and your confidence over the next decade of your life?
That is an incredible thought to leave on. Thank you so much for breaking this all down with us today.